start with Mr. BioWare. However, it's been a year and I've forgotten what the voice is. So
I mean, at this point, Mr. BioWare is going to come kick our ass, so we might want to...
Now they're focused on Greg Ellis at this point.
No, we're not going there. Mr. BioWare might be dead pretty soon. Jesus Christ, they might not I mean, you know what's interesting? You know what I was thinking about the other day?
Mm-hmm.
I go from our perspective. It's like, imagine if it was like, I don't remember what the year was, but like around the time of the Titanic, you know, like early 20, when it's like, imagine that you had started, it wouldn't have been a podcast, it wouldn't have been a radio show. Imagine you started a radio show all about the Titanic. Here on the voyages of the Titanic, we are going to talk about this amazing seafaring vessel and all the voyages all across the world. There's never been another ship like this one. And now, what? It sank? What do you mean it sank? What do you mean a fucking iceberg? You and me are sitting here fucking 3 years into this shit. Like, what could possibly go wrong? They're the #1 RPG developer in the world. What? Fucking Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah in the same day? What do you mean?
Oh, boy.
Anthem's not even an RPG. What the fuck's going on? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Split the Veil.
I would like to go on the record that I think historically we've been very positive.
No, I know.
Well, no. Like we've been very positive and try to look at the bright spin of this. I don't really think there is one. You know, I'm not going to. Okay, I don't think the company's going to go under, but I think it's there's something happens. You know, I feel like I have to say this because there's so many people on like either side yelling at each other over stuff that like neither of them are actually saying, if that makes sense. Like, we know that there is a bunch of talented people still working on the game that could make a wonderful game, and it's great. We're not saying that Darrah was Dragon Age and without him it's dead. The problem is that two substantial leaders in the company gone, and so whatever direction they were going in is now going to be different. It was also done completely without any warning to anyone else in the company, because literally everyone who worked at the company that I've seen is surprised at this. And I even think that maybe Darrah and
might have been
Casey
a little surprised by it.
So
there's a lot to say. There's many caveats.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of facts, feelings, analysis, prognostications, looking back. There's everything. And I know that primarily, especially on an episode like this, we are speaking to the choir and everybody knows what's going on. But if you would so happen to have stumbled upon our podcast for the first time today, hi and welcome. And let me just let you know what's going on. BioWare, BioWare, I don't think I have to explain what BioWare is. If you clicked on this, you know what BioWare is. But Casey Hudson, who is the studio manager at BioWare, who was a longtime creative director of KOTOR and Mass Effect, etc.
Well, he only joined back up BioWare like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, he left and he was the head of HoloLens at Microsoft, which was like the AR gaming division of Microsoft for 3 years, and then he came back. And so he came back as the studio manager. Mark Darrah is most recently, his title is executive producer of Dragon Age 4, but he's been the EP for like the last few Dragon Age games. And I think he was maybe credited as like lead designer or something like that on Origins.
He also, when I forget the titles exactly because I get confused, but when the lead producer of Anthem left, he quickly took over and I think led the last year, was it?
Very successfully, according to the Schreier article and many sources inside the company. Mark Darrah was instrumental in turning around Anthem.
Yeah, and Darrah in general has been like, if after he left, like anyone who had worked with him was just singing his praises. You know, like everyone loved him. There has nothing negative has been said about Mark Darrah.
He has been described as a ship captain, and at times even as a captain of a pirate ship. So in other words, even when things are sort of disorderly, he's the order in that disorder. Mm-hmm. So basically, long story short, the head of the studio manager, even though BioWare is owned by EA and has an executive at EA, which sort of works with them, Casey Hudson is the top of the ticket in BioWare. He's the top leader in the structure. And Mark Darrah is the senior most person on many projects, but certainly within Dragon Age, he's been the most consistent senior member throughout all of them. So very important people within the organization of BioWare, and specifically to the franchise of Dragon Age, have left the company. They announced this Wednesday. They announced it both on the same day, basically minutes apart. They both posted separate blog posts on...
Well, the first one was from Laura... Wait, I pulled it up. Laura...
EA executive. Yeah, the executive from EA that I mentioned. The executive from EA that's sort of over, or I'm sure they would say partnering with BioWare. She sort of announced it first and sort of laid the groundwork for it. I actually consider that one third in it's damage control. It's third in order of importance. Even if they posted it first, it's just damage control.
Well, I think it's interesting that was posted first and not the letters from Darrah and Hudson.
Yeah, it's kind of out of order, but I think they wanted to lead with damage control, which I'll get to that. I'll talk about more of that in a second. But basically, the story of it is Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah have left. They both described their departure as a retirement in some sense or another, probably Darrah more so than Hudson. However, it seems like retirement in air quotes to me. Really what they mean is they're leaving the company. Both of them are still within working age. They're probably both at the peak of their earning potential right now. And so I imagine they'll both be working in the gaming industry again, but who knows? Maybe they want a career switch altogether, or they'll go do something else, etc. But they're gone. They're no longer going to work at BioWare. And that leaves everybody who follows the studio very closely with a lot of questions. You know, those casual Mass Effect and Dragon Age fans don't follow news like this, although it's a major gaming story at this point. IGN, Game Informer. I mean, even if you're a mainstream fan, you have probably caught wind of it. But in particular, within this community of BioWare fans, people are freaking the fuck out. On some level, others are more calm, but a lot of freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. Especially since, like, not that I'm a part of a bunch of fandoms, but the Dragon Age one is very specifically neurotic. So
yes, correct.
This didn't help.
You're right.
So like there's kind of like, I don't want to say like famous devs, but there's very few devs that you kind of know the name of, and they were Gator, Laidlaw, Darrah, and Weeks. 3 of them are gone now. Yeah,
Olin. I would throw James Olin in there.
Maybe for older fans, not newer ones. But yeah, he's also gone. So.
Yep, he's gone too. Drew Karpyshyn is, again, for Mass Effect side at least, maybe not Dragon Age, but Mass Effect, also gone.
So, I'm going to throw Mary Kirby in there. Mary Kirby and Cheryl Chi, and they're still there.
Okay. But in any event, a lot of senior people have left recently. Again, we say senior people, we mean the ones that sort of had that more public presence.
Yeah. And, like, again, I want to reiterate, this isn't about, like, a couple, like, 3 people left, so Dragon Age is done, because, like, Dragon Age is literally everyone on the team. And there's a bunch of talent there that we haven't even heard of that's making a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is that these were the people, like, leading the ship, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now we don't know where the ship is going.
Yeah.
I know Christian Daly, is that his name?
Is it pronounced Daly or Daly?
I have no fucking idea.
I've been saying...
Christian!
Christian, there you go.
Mr. Christian. I don't think he was on the original Anthem. He's on the Anthem reboot, correct? And he left the Anthem reboot, or is he still doing it, and now he's doing Dragon Age?
To my understanding, like, I've been sort of with one ear pointed in the direction of the Anthem community. They're taking it as he's leaving, which I assume is correct, unless he's going to helm both projects. But no, I think even he tweeted something to the effect of, "I'm very confident in the people who can lead the Anthem next efforts."
Yeah, I'm looking at his the note that he posted on the next day. So all this happened on the 3rd. He posted a note on the 4th. He doesn't even say anything about Anthem. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even know if he's leaving or not. I don't know. Another thing to point out that you noticed is that there's 2 BioWare studios. There's Edmonton and Austin. Darrah and Hudson were in Edmonton, and then Mr. Christian Daly is in Austin. So
that's correct. So there's a lot to unpack on that. I know you've already kind of been giving your feelings, but like I just want to center us real quick and just say, what was your gut feeling when it happened, and what is your gut feeling right now?
My personal feeling, or what I think's happening?
No, just kind of like, what did you feel like personally?
Fuck.
I feel you on that one.
Actually, I think you tweeted fuck, didn't you?
I did. And it had like so much response of people who felt the same way.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I guess Darrah was just kind of like the face of Dragon Age. Not that he is Dragon Age, but just like he just seemed so invested in it that like I couldn't see him wanting to leave, and I don't think he wanted to leave. And so that suddenly triggered the thought of like, well, he must have been forced out then. Why? And I think that question of why is more concerning. Like the only thing I could really think of is that the project isn't going well or isn't going in the direction that EA wanted, and both of those are kind of shit, you know? So
they are, yeah.
I can't see a good alternative here. Like, who knows? Maybe the game that Darrah was leading kind of would have been bad, and EA's suddenly somehow the good guy. I like that historically that apparently happened with Anthem, where they course corrected Anthem, but Darrah was the one to course correct it. So wouldn't you think that he would be fine for this? It's just a lot of confusion, and like we don't know the industry. We're just a bunch of assholes on the internet with a voice and an audience somehow.
Yeah.
But it's just confusing and concerning, and like this is something I probably should have looked up. I don't know of any release games that Mr. Daily Dally has. I feel that feels kind of insensitive.
I'm gonna go with Daily. I'm just saying
okay,
Daily.
We'll do Daily, Mr. Daily. Like I don't know what he's done, so I can't like compare it to anything. Which maybe this is something I do right now, but yeah,
there's some stuff out there. I don't think that he's had perhaps the AAA titles that we would expect, but by all accounts, people seem to say that he's doing a very, very good job with Anthem Next, and he had worked at Blizzard prior to this, I know. Mm-hmm. And I know he's also, done some stuff that's not like high profile necessarily. I think he maybe worked on an Avatar movie game adaptation. Or so I saw that. I don't even know if that's 100% confirmed, but I think I saw someone mentioning that. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for us to believe that he's not going to do a good job, given what Mark Darrah himself has said on Twitter and what others have said about confidence in Mr. Christian Daly. So, I mean, it's just the same thing as anything else. We didn't know that the next Dragon Age game was going to be a phenomenal, excellent game, even with Mark Darrah working on it. Mm-hmm. You never know if a game's going to be phenomenal and excellent. Even the people working on it will tell you, we give it everything we've got, and we hope for the best after that, So, same thing with Christian Daly. Nothing on that front has changed. But has your mood changed at all between Wednesday and now?
Okay, this is going to be really petty. Not really. However, that 1-2 punch to the whole Greg Ellis drama kind of like lifted my spirits a bit, even though it shouldn't have. So like,
yeah.
I don't even know if we want to go into that, but
I so don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about that. It's so ridiculous to me.
It's just so stupid. No,
so like Caitie, I like to watch football. Do you like to watch football?
No, but
is it boring to you?
Is this
same thing? Same thing. Some people don't like football. And I don't want people to take my football away from me. I like to watch fucking football. I don't want to take away anybody's football. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, they scored a touchdown. Yeah, did you see that? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, but here's the thing. I know there's going to be listeners. Can I at least give like a very short little summary of what happened? You can like tune out.
I'm going to get up and go make another cup of tea. You can
Okay, why don't you go get a cup of tea and I'll lean in real close and tell the listeners what just happened, because there's a lot of confused
I'll be back, audience.
Okay. Hey guys, it's just me and you right now. Jordan's definitely gone, not just sitting here. Okay, the Greg Ellis drama. Greg Ellis is the voice actor for Colin in the original Dragon Age Origins. Anders, he was since replaced. He's just kind of an asshole, I guess. Like no matter what your beliefs are or whatever, he's done something kind of shitty. I'm not even going to go into it. But he kind of had a bee in his bonnet for Darrah and kind of wanted to get him fired for whatever reason. And so when Darrah left, he then tweeted at Darrah like, oh, good, you should have left before whatever. And so Darrah, now that he was let go from BioWare, was able to make essentially just a bunch of remarks saying, look here, we're never going to hire you again. I don't know why you think we're ever going to hire you again. Fuck off. He said it more eloquently than that. And pretty much all of the dev teams and the fans who have been sitting here watching this guy run his mouth for however many years just applauded, and it was very cathartic. Anyway, thank you for listening. The end. Now, if Jordan actually had to got tea, we're going to have an awkward edit here.
I'm back. Are you done?
That was great timing, or you were listening the entire time. I can't tell.
I was not listening the entire time, but I am back.
I said it would be short.
Okay, so that lifted your spirits in whatever sense.
Yes.
General outlook right now? I mean, like, what are your thoughts about it? Like, how are you feeling right now, BioWare, in the next the next few months, the next couple of years? What are you thinking?
So, okay, there's an element of maybe the therapist part is like, I can't do anything about this. There's no worth me even like spending my mental energy on it. There's a pandemic going on. I have a baby. I got 3 hours of sleep last night. I don't need to care about this, Jordan.
You're
but
right.
I still do. It's uncomfy, I guess is the best word to put it. It's not like, you know, it doesn't feel good. It does. I don't think this is a good sign. It's like there's been enough like bad shit going on, like a reboot midway, a whole bunch of people leaving, not even ones that we've even heard about. There's a couple like BioWare devs I've followed on Twitter, and they've left too.
You're right. You're right.
And like there's been kind of quiet fanfare about it, so there's something going on there.
Absolutely.
And I just don't know what it is, and we won't know for a while until Jason Schreier figures out what's going on and tells everyone about it.
Yeah.
But there's something going on with Dragon Age 4 and its development, and like we've tried to maybe see the positives in it, because I don't think it was like super telling there was something wrong, but I think definitely that 2 very major leads are gone. It's pretty obvious now, and it's just a matter of time before we figure out how bad it is on the end product. Now, could they turn this around? Absolutely. We don't know. And here's another thing, like, even if it's a bad game, someone's gonna like this. People like Anthem, you know? So I think a lot of people are like, oh, Dragon Age is doomed. You know, there's a lot of you listening might touch the Dragon Age 4 game, and even if it's wonderfully, like, comes to like 10 out of 10 on IGN or whatever, you might hate it. So I think that you diehard Dragon Age fan listening, you're probably gonna like it anyway, because they're gonna throw you a couple bones that'll keep you reeled in. But I feel like I'm kind of wondering if they're going to go more the multiplayer route, you know, and aim towards that, because I think that's kind of what EA wants to do anyway, and that's kind of what happened with Anthem, and that's why they got a guy who worked on a lot of multiplayer stuff. Looking at Christian Daly's stuff, looks a lot like some multiplayer things, and he was also doing the Anthem. So, and maybe that's why, maybe like Darrah and Hudson put their foot down and said, we don't want to do that, and they got let go because of it. I could totally see that happening, because these 2 guys were very passionate about the project, apparently. I don't want to say it got rebooted again, but maybe it did, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my feelings.
When I first heard the news, it was a gut punch, and I think that's probably how a lot of people felt.
Yeah.
The fuck period tweet was just like, I didn't know what else to put. Like, that just seemed like, and I tweeted that out going, everybody's gonna know exactly what this is, and I imagined a lot of people feel the same way, and it turns out that was the case. But you know, when I first saw it, like, I think I probably had the same reaction that you did, which is just like, undeniably, this is bad. This is not one of those, oh, well, you know, let's think about this from the positive. It's like, no, it's bad. It's bad. It doesn't mean the studio's over. It doesn't mean Dragon Age isn't going to happen or it's going to be a failure. It just means this is bad. There's no way this is a good thing. I think over a couple of days, you know, that feeling of fuck kind of lessens. The technicality of it is not any different. It's still bad. It's not good. It's still definitely bad. But the feeling of it, the feeling of it's going to change a lot. Like, here's a thought that we have to really keep in mind, right? Like, we've been on sort of this, in this short term, we've been on this roller coaster, right? So just to let people in, we're recording this the day after Dragon Age Day. Mm-hmm. December 4th, the fan-made Dragon Age Day. On the 10th, at the Video Game Awards with Jeff Keighley, BioWare has already said that they're going to have some Dragon Age, something about Dragon Age. Dragon Age is going to be seen at the Video Game Awards on December 10th.
Which I should also add to that. Saria tweeted it or something. I found it via Saria, but someone had asked, like, oh, this better not be another, like, show of art.
Teaser trailer, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and someone on the dev team said, no, it's not just art. So this could actually be a legit trailer.
So we're going to see something about Dragon Age, and we can talk more about what we think that'll be as well. We'll probably react to it in a separate episode, but we're going to see something about Dragon Age in less than a week. Mm-hmm. What do you think the feeling on Dragon Age is going to be on that day? Well, it's going to be through the fucking roof, probably. Unless they announce, Dragon Age 4, Anthem with dragons, which it's not going to be that. People are going to be ecstatic. People are going to be very positive. We're going to see some of the highest positivity in the Dragon Age community since Inquisition came out. That's what we're going to see in less than a week. So people's feelings right now are going through this roller coaster. Like, they were really down on the announcement, and then kind of came up quite a bit yesterday on Dragon Age Day, and it's going to go up even more when we see whatever we see during the Video Game Awards. My sort of word of caution about that is kind of bump the feelings for a second. The reality is not any different, and whatever we're excited about that we see on Thursday, that's going to be Mark Darrah Dragon Age, because the guy's only been gone for a week. So you can, so we can see that and say, oh, well, see, this proves that everything's going to be fine. But it's like, hold up, time out. That's what they've worked on with Darrah up to this point, and with Hudson at the studio. So whatever we see, and I don't know what we're going to see. If I had to venture a guess, I think it's probably going to be 30 to 90 seconds of CGI that is representative of gameplay elements, like the first thing we saw of Andromeda and of Anthem, quite frankly. So they've had a pattern of like somewhere between 30 and 90 seconds of CGI, but it's showing you locations, possibly characters, and like little gameplay. Like the first time we saw, some of the Omni Blade, like the jump pack and things like that in Andromeda, that was all seen for the first time in that teaser. I think we'll see stuff like that, is my guess. But yeah, we're gonna see those concepts that are potentially gameplay concepts, that are potentially story elements and characters, and we're gonna go, fuck yeah, this is it, this is great. Enthusiasm's gonna be at an all-time high, and it's gonna be like, okay, well now they have to finish the game. Yeah. And they have to do that without two of the most senior people within the studio. So the feeling of, oh fuck, is definitely lessening, but I think the clear-eyed analysis of the situation should be about the same, which is, this is not good. It's not the end of the world. They have many talented people who work at BioWare and EA, quite frankly, and probably they have the talent to do what they need to do. Probably. We can't say that as a certainty, because sometimes there are talent gaps. I don't work at BioWare, and I don't know anything about making video games, so I can't assess that. It's possible that they have a talent gap. It's possible that they have all the talent that they need, and they just need some organization. They need to clean up some of their processes, that seems to me to be the indication, given some of the leaks that have come out through Jason Schreier articles. Again, we've talked about before in the past, is there a selection bias? Is he talking to people who are most disgruntled, who have the least amount of confidence in the process? That's why it sounds like they have some process improvements to be made. We don't know these things for certain, but it's possible that they just need to kind of button down a little bit, get a little bit focused, lean on the talent that they have, and they're going to be fine. But again, you come right back to the concern of, Mark Darrah is not coding or making the art himself. He is in a leadership position. Casey Hudson is in a leadership position. When you lose senior leaders and you need a transition, that's hard. Transition is hard. Doesn't mean Christian Daly's not talented. Doesn't mean that the next studio manager is not going to be talented. It means that transitioning is hard. Mm-hmm. I would say that they are going to spend 6 months trying to get up to the level of efficiency from a process standpoint that they were at Tuesday before Darrah and Hudson left. And who knows if they were being super efficient then anyway.
Because of COVID, yeah, everyone's working from home.
COVID and just in general, based on things that we've heard about the studio. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a challenge. It doesn't mean abandon all hope, ye who enter here. It just means, like you said, you don't have to care about this. We all kind of love these game franchises, and so optimism is totally a valid response. It's totally optimistic to say that, well, I'm just going to wait and see, and I'm going to hope for the best, and I'm not going to panic. Like, thumbs up. That's a really level-headed way to approach this. But also, if people are going to prognosticate and people are going to throw out analysis of what they think is going to happen, like, probably you want to include the fact that this is a really tough situation to overcome.
Yeah. Because something I have to wonder, like what you're saying with the, it's going to take them, in your estimate, maybe 6 months to get where they were Tuesday. What was going on that makes that exchange worth it?
You have asked the right question. And I've said this in a couple of places. I think I might have said it on your Discord, where it's like, the idea that everything was going well and Darrah left, no, I don't buy that. Somebody at EA needs to have a serious talking to if everything was going splendidly with the project and you let these two guys leave. Like, that's how I would put it. You let them leave. Like, imagine hypothetically that Dragon Age 4 is going exactly the way that everyone wants it to. Mm-hmm. Unless Darrah and Hudson walked into someone's office and said, we're quitting and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, even then, it's like, well, hang on. You say there's nothing we can do about it, Mark, but let's talk about this. You know, like, What is it that you're looking for that we're not providing for you? And unless he says, I have no passion for making video games whatsoever, I want to go be an air balloon operator or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, which I don't think that's what it was. He's never even tweeted about air balloons, Caitie. Facts, exclusive reporting, the Exalted March.
Holy shit, Jordan.
Shocking, I know. Homework. I'm telling you. Unless he comes in and says, I have no desire to make video games, you have to say, what do we need to do to make sure that this is your home forever? If not, at least until we get done with Dragon. Like, you tell us what we need to do, and that's the appropriate response from the leadership of EA. So I don't think that's what happened. I think that there were probably very serious creative differences between what EA wanted this product to be and what Mark Darrah wanted the product to be, and then to your point, I think Casey Hudson did the right thing as the leader of the studio and said, I'm standing behind my people, and this is what we want to make.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, well, then you're not the person to lead the studio. And Casey Hudson said, okay, well, I guess I'm not. Yep.
And that's why we have anxiety issues. This is kind of related but off topic at the same time. So they released those 4 stories. Did you read them at all?
I read 2 of them. I read the one from Dombrow, and then I read the one from Cheryl. I can't remember what. It was the one. Yeah, it was the one with. I read 2 of them. I clearly remember Dombrow's, and I don't know if I remember the other one.
Dombrow is the Ruin Relic one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's the one I want to talk about. So if you haven't read them, it's essentially a short little story involving some characters from Tevinter Nights. And there's a strange magical artifact in the Arlithan Forest that creates doubles, and then they have to get an artifact, and then it's over. That's a lot like a multiplayer hook, don't you think, Jordan?
Oh, that's interesting. Look at you being a sleuth, making connections.
Look at me go.
Is it okay if I say that feels like a bit of a stretch to me? Like, tell me more about this idea.
Okay, so in the story, you're following Strife, and suddenly he sees a version of himself, and then, they're running around, and they have, eventually another character comes up and, plucks the gold, this little statue of Gillenon, and then all the effects go away, and it's over. To me, that would be a great way to explain why and how, when you're joining a multiplayer server, you both can play the same guy, and it's not that weird. It's magical, whatever. And it's all over when you complete the goal of getting the artifact. That seems like a multiplayer hook to me. Because otherwise, that has been nowhere in the lore so far. All these doubles and weird timey-wimey stuff. Nothing. Granted, there was... what is it? The one quest in Inquisition, but something feels off to me. As someone who has their butt deep in the Dragon Age lore, felt off. And it felt like an explanation on how there could be multiple people on the same map that look the same. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it really is something.
Look,
that's just what it felt like.
If you were proposing that from a design and storytelling and a what's it called, narrative director, if I was putting I don't know how to do any of these jobs, Caitie, but if I pretended that I was the gameplay designer, and I pretended that I was a video game writer, and I pretended that I was a narrative director, knowing what I know about those 3 roles, Seems plausible that your pitch satisfies all of those, right? Like you write some sort of story basis for it, which is what they're doing now, even with the short story. And the gameplay, I mean, that's pretty much your basic multiplayer gameplay loop, right? And then you've got a hook where it kind of synchronizes. I mean, it's plausible. I mean, there's certainly nothing about it that disproves itself. So interesting. Okay, so you're really going. I don't even want to say tinfoil because it's they posted this story. I mean, it's canon to the extent that those website stories are canon. So that's
which I also say the writer for that one was the writer for Anthem. So already working on that multiplayer, and like this, it's where my brain goes. Maybe I'm wrong, like, and I also want to say not a bad story. It's not like I'm saying like, oh, it sucks.
I liked the story. No. I mean, as a short story, I liked it.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it's a little fishy for me.
It is a little fishy. So, real quick, since we're talking about stories, I'm going to kind of derail us for a little bit. On a prior episode of Split the Veil, when we talked about Tevinter Nights, we talked about the Dreadwolf Take You and the structure of that story and how it's basically what you would call a frame story. And I made reference, sort of obscurely, to the fact that there is an episode of Batman the Animated Series that has basically the same structure, where Batman is hiding amongst a bunch of villains, and then they're all telling stories about Batman, and he goes, "Haha, I'm here." It's basically the same setup as the story with Solus hiding amongst the other characters in that. Apparently, I was not watching the stream. I was far too busy to watch a lot of the stuff going on yesterday on Dragon Age Day, but someone tweeted me and said that Weeks confirmed that was, in fact, an inspiration for the story, that episode of Batman. I just thought that was funny. I thought, well, look at that, Patrick Weeks, great minds think alike. I mean,
it's a great show. I haven't seen that particular episode, but like,
I thought that was funny because I thought when I was making that comparison in my head, honestly, I was like, "There's no way in hell this is it." And it's like, "Oh no, it is."
That makes sense to me, to be quite honest, because like other things that he says he's drawn inspiration from is like more, that there's the scene in Trespasser where you find out that the elf was actually working for Solus. The little worker elf in Trespasser was working for Solus the entire time. And at one point he was talking about it, and it was his Hail Hydra moment, And like he uses a lot of like more pop culture references and Dragon Age stuff. So I feel like he gathers a lot of inspiration from like more modern pop culture. So which would include I had not actually seen it, but someone told me of like an esoteric Japanese movie. I can't remember the name of it. And he's like, oh, it was inspiration for that, which, to be fair, that was the inspiration for the Batman episode. I would also be interested in like if Weeks did kind of both, or if it was the Batman episode, so therefore the the Japanese movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, that's just a little fun note for anyone who also listened to that episode. All right, back to Dragon Age. Yes. Do you think Dragon Age 4 is going to be multiplayer? Like multiplayer predominantly? Not that it would be quote unquote multiplayer only, but that the predominant game mode would be an online connected. At least the option is always there to play everything with other players.
I don't know. So, we know what's going to be there. Like Inquisition had it. It's going to be there in some capacity.
Yes.
I could see them trying to finagle it into being more part of the game, because like in Inquisition it really was like you could pretend it, like you could not look at it and pretend it wasn't there, and you could play the game all the same, minus like one set of skyhole decorations, but I could see them wanting to mesh the two, that way they don't feel like they're wasting their time on the multiplayer bit. I think the fans' reaction to it entirely depends on if it's optional or not, because while I don't think this is necessarily the case in some regard, there are a lot of people in the fandom whose opinion is like, well, the Dragon Age has a lot of minority and female audience, and they don't like playing on online because they generally get called mean names and stuff like that. I like, as someone who played a lot of Anthem online, like that wasn't an issue for me, even with playing vocally. So I feel like BioWare has I don't think it's going to be as doom and gloom for the fans if it is multiplayer, but I don't like playing multiplayer all that often. Sometimes I just want to wrap myself in a little cocoon and pretend people don't exist. So if that's kind of like forced into a single player game experience, that kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess I like playing Anthem well enough. I don't. It's strange. I don't want to say Dragon Age 4 is going to be bad. It's just going to be really different, which historically has been the same for all of the games. None of the games really resemble each other.
It's true.
So it being as different as it's sounding like it's going to be should be expected.
Right.
But I feel like it's because it's leaning more into the multiplayer difference, people are freaking out a bit.
Yeah. I think the litmus test is loot.
Yeah.
To me, the litmus test is really loot. Like, I can put up with a lot of different stuff. I like the story of Star Wars The Old Republic. That is an MMO. That is a full-scale MMO, and I like the stories that they've told in MMO. In particular, when they started doing, like, the Knights of the Fallen Order and the different, like, not the two latest expansions, but, like, when they started doing these expansions that were, like, very... You could play them almost like single-player games. Mm-hmm. I'm like, God damn, this kind of is what KOTOR 3 would have been. They got very close to doing that, and so I really trust in BioWare Austin's ability to actually do a really strong story inside of an online vehicle. It's possible. Mm-hmm. But that being said, not everything works in that setting. There are parts of that, in particular the combat, that are very annoying. Because they're having to scale it as like in-game content, and so then they have to do like tokens to like boost your level, and you have to understand how in-game gear and crafting works. If you just want to play the goddamn story, it's kind of hard. It's weird.
And another thing, like Dragon Age historically has a huge modding community. I know of a ton of modders that just are there. If you cannot mod Dragon Age 4, that there's gonna be a riot.
Yeah, and if it's online, you can't mod it, right? Like there's no Anthem modding community because you can't do that.
No. Well, there is some Anthem modding, but it's like you have to be out there. There's an issue with it.
It's like you're basically trying to run an instance of it that's disconnected from the actual server. So yeah, like it's possible for them to do an online game that has a story that I like, at least for me personally. Mm-hmm. But here's the litmus test. If Solus drops loot when you kill him, we're fucking done here. Like, we're fucking done here. And we say that as though, like, oh, well, like, who would ever do that? It's like the fucking hall monitor in Anthem drops loot when you kill him, and he's a repeatable dungeon.
Yeah.
Like, I just want people to realize that. Like, I think there's about a 1% chance that happens. But I'm going to put the percentage chance at about 1% at this point.
I think we also need to explain that the hall monitor was the final, quote-unquote, final boss of the game.
Yeah. The quote-unquote, the monitor, which I can't remember which episode we dubbed him the hall monitor, and...
I don't even remember the episodes.
We called him the hall monitor. Like, that's a repeatable, what do you call it? Dungeon, repeatable quest that people grind to get more loot. Like, if we're
it's actually one of the better ones, too.
I mean, it is, but, like, can you imagine that after a decade of these stories being told, that the culmination of this incredible story is grinding the Solus dungeon to kill him infinitely for loot?
Sorry, I just, with that whole, I know, again, you said it was a stretch, but with that whole weird story thing or whatever, it's an infinite time bubble where Solus is stuck getting defeated again and again and again and again. And it's just like, if we take this to be canon in the story, that is such like a, like... Cause we're so invested in like these characters in Dragon Age. I don't give a shit about the hall monitor. So him in his infinite time loop, and he's getting defeated over and over and over again.
Sure.
He's a 3D model that looks cool, and I kill him. It being Solus and like we're attached to this character is like really depressing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like if that, and again, everyone, we should only spend so much time painting the mental picture for people, because if you start imagining it more and more, it feels more real.
Yes, true.
If I was giving they said, Mr. Exalted March, please give us your official prognostication. I don't think that's going to happen, right? I don't think they're going to do that. But yeah, let's just say 1%. Right? There's a 1% chance, and 1% chance of something that fucking stupid is enough to make me go, ugh.
Well, yeah. I mean. Yeah, so I guess that's the, what?
I was just going to say, here's the thing, right? Thursday, we might be feeling very different. Thursday, we might see something that makes us go, oh, even just based on what we've seen now, it's not going to be that, right? So...
Well, I will say, let's remember the Schreier articles where there was this whole story. I'm going to botch this up, but the gist of the story was that when Anthem was going on, no one really knew kind of what they were working on. They were like, well, I'm making like this javelin. There's this thing. I don't really know what it all is.
Yeah.
And when they saw the trailer, then that's when things solidified. It wasn't until the trailer
you're
that
right.
they knew what game they were making.
It's a great point.
That could be this. That could be this.
That's a great fucking point.
But yeah, I think a trailer that looks promising on Thursday or whatever it is. Which, they came out on a Thursday. Fuck off, man. Like
it's always been on a Thursday, right?
I know, but I got shit to do, man.
Well, not only that, but like Cyberpunk's coming out.
Oh fuck. We got shit. I'm not gonna play Cyberpunk. It's gonna make me barfy. I'm kind of sad about it because it looks cool, but I'm.
You know what's so weird too? They just posted like a dev diary about like, look at our photo mode, and our photo mode is very excellent. The guy who does the voiceovers for their videos is so oddly stiff.
I have not watched.
He's got a very interesting voice. The world of Cyberpunk 2077. It's like very sort of weird presenter voice. But anyway, they're showing a video about how good their photo mode is. And what it's clearly showing is that they have a fully rigged character with, like, to me, it's like, oh, they did first person because you don't want to animate every single thing that the character does. Apparently, it's all fucking animated.
So then why not?
So why? I don't know. And I'm like, why is there no third person? And I really hope somebody just mods it ASAP.
Yeah, if there's a third person, I would play it because, like, after trying to do Fallout, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. Anyway, but back to Depresso Hour. A trailer. So I'm invested in the Dragon Age story. No matter what happens, there's going to be a story in this game, and that's what I'm there for. But then there's a whole gameplay aspect. So I'm going to be excited about this trailer no matter what happens. However, I don't think it promises a good game no matter what it looks like or what gameplay is there, if any. Oh,
I agree with you that it doesn't promise it. I mean, we saw things, like I said, going back to Anthem, going back to Mass Effect Andromeda, things that didn't, they showed a version of the galaxy map that, like, if we had gotten that version of the galaxy map on the helm of the Tempest, that would be really cool. Now, that portion of the bridge on the Tempest is kind of like what they showed in that trailer, but the interactivity of the map was nothing like that. So, like, we're definitely going to see things that are meant to be, well, I shouldn't say definitely. My estimate is that we will see things that are meant to be concepts of gameplay that they want to do. But to your point, they have to now iterate and deliver on that, and it might all change. And who knows, maybe we'll see stuff that really excites us and we end up seeing half of it or less in the actual game.
Yeah. And I would be really interested to see what this trailer looks like, because there's a chance that when it's released, it looks a bit funky because they had to change some of it last minute because of they're going in a new direction. And I'd be really interested to see if that's the case or not. Like, if it looks... Are
they going in a new direction, or is this the direction that they've been going in since, what was it, Morrison became Joplin, or Joplin became Morrison? I forget how it goes.
Joplin to Morrison.
When Joplin became Morrison, which to me, I think we've talked about this again before, we have read into... I don't think it's stated explicitly in the Schreier content, but we read into this is why Laidlaw left.
Yeah.
So if that happened, is it just like a progression of that? Like, maybe at that point, Darrah was like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, maybe he was on that board too, but he's like, no, I'm going to stick it out. This is home. This is where I'm... Like, I thought that Mark Darrah would never leave. Like, even my feeling on it was like, he's a lifer. And I mean that with all due respect. Like, certain people just say, this is my home. Like, this is my company. I'm retiring here. I'm not leaving. We're going to go through good times. We're going to go through bad times. Maybe other people will look for greener pastures, and I wish them the best on that. But I'm here, and this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm staying. That is the perception I had of him. Now, I don't know the man. So that's me kind of reading into things. But I thought he was never going to leave. So to me, I read this as, I don't know if it's necessarily another reboot, but it's like the same principle of Morrison, just maybe it kept getting iterated on and pushed a little bit further and a little bit further, and eventually there was a straw that broke the camel's back.
And then, yeah.
So what I mean about the trailer is, are they really revamping it last second, or was it just, this is the direction that it was going anyway, and leading up to this, Darrah was just like, I don't want to be, this is not what I want to do. Before the trailer comes out, let me go ahead and exit this ship.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I also feel like we've been focusing on Darrah leaving. Like Hudson is also, depressing because I know he was really into Mass Effect, and that's more your wheelhouse. This is really dumb, but at the very least, I can stop accidentally confusing the head of BioWare with Casey Anthony.
Well, I mean, you can still confuse Casey Hudson with Casey Anthony.
That's true. That will never change.
I don't know what BioWare's going to do without Casey Anthony.
they really needed that mom that murdered her kid.
Oh.
I don't know why I do it. It's so awful. I'm so sorry.
It's so weird, but it did. They both named Casey. No, Casey Hudson leaving. Casey Hudson leaving is, he tweeted about it and he talked about what Ray and Greg, Ray Musica and Greg Suschek, sort of meant to him and sort of how they influenced him as a young developer and giving him a chance to work at the studio. And yeah, I mean, Casey's another one where when he left the first time, I couldn't believe it. But when he came back, it was like, oh man, like this is like triumphant. This is like, to use a sports reference, I'm sorry for people that don't follow sports. Like when LeBron James left Cleveland, it was like, what are you doing? Cleveland's your home. Like you're from Akron. And then when he came back, it was like, oh shit, he's back. Like the hometown person is back. Like this is great. Like that's kind of what it felt like when Casey Hudson came back. Mm-hmm. It's like everything's going to be okay now. Like creative director of Mass Effect is back. And to see him leave again, especially after sort of a short tenure and the one game that sort of releases on his watch is Anthem, like it just leaves kind of like this listless, like you kind of don't know how to feel. It's just really underwhelming. I'm like, well, I guess that's it.
Can I, if I can, so Darrah, he has changed his profile banner and picture to his letter.
Yes.
That he wrote. And the one thing that he made sure to put in the banner reads, I don't know what's next for me, but I'm excited to find out, just as I'm excited to find out what Dragon Age now becomes. Something about that wording I don't like. What Dragon Age now becomes.
Yeah.
Not will become.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So you're saying that indicates it's going to be different. It's going in a direction that he doesn't know about, doesn't care about at this point. Not that he doesn't care, but like you guys are going to do something with this that I never would have done, and God bless you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not. I don't like. Maybe like secretly he's condemning it, but at least publicly he was.
Also,
this is different.
Also, let's just throw this out there. Mark Darrah is going to work again, right? Like there's a lot of folks saying he's retiring. I go, the guy's not going to sit in a chair and like watch the sunset. He's going to go work on games.
No, yeah. What I hope for the man, I'm assuming this is what he would like because he posts about it all the time. He posts about like Warhammer figurines. Mark Darrah, wherever you are, I hope you get to work on a Warhammer game that's really cool and you love the hell out of it. You know. Or maybe you just like painting the figurines. I hope you paint the figurines and you're just having a good old time. I kind of liked Darrah a lot because he was just he trolled the hell out of us. He was hilarious to like. I loved it when he would just tweet like the word Dragon Age and then PC Gamer would run an article on it, and he was very obvious like trolling PC Gamer.
It was fantastic.
And all of these listicle sites, and I loved every moment of it, and I am so sad we're not going to get that anymore.
Favorite Darrah moment was last year, I think, on Dragon Age Day. Someone put something in a chat on a Twitch stream about like Mark Darrah should post one pixel of one screenshot from the corner and tweet it.
That was you.
No, someone put that in the chat and I screenshotted it and then I tweeted it to Mark Darrah and said, "Please, sir." And he did it. He fucking did it. And I thought it was amazing that he did that.
It was so good. Yeah, it was great. There was also I can't remember unfortunately the details of why it was great, but there was a stream it was a live stream of him playing Anthem, and someone said something snarky in the chat, and then he just had the best reply. Like it was so obvious that he gave no shits. He did not he did not care about anyone like booming in the chat.
Wait, I take it back. This is the best Mark Darrah moment. Was the 1 year anniversary of Anthem, and he put today as Anthem's birthday. And you know that some person at EA said, we really need you to make some sort of statement about the 1 year anniversary of Anthem on social media. Please, Mark, can you do that? And he replied in an email that said, yes, period. And then he took his phone out and said, today is Anthem's birthday. Like a boss. Like a fucking boss. We love you, Mark Darrah. You are fantastic. We will miss you greatly.
Yeah, man. He was a hoot.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's fantastic. Moves like that are just like, mwah, chef's kiss. It's a man after my own heart. I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. A lot of the devs, after he was announced he was leaving, was saying that he would follow. They would follow this man into hell, and I'm like, you know what? I would too. He seems like a fun dude.
It's a good leader. That's honestly a good leader that inspires that. I have had that feeling with prior colleagues and bosses of like, yeah, wherever this fucking dude's going, that's where I want to go. It's a rare thing to see something like that inspired amongst people, and that is the reason why it's a celebration of his work and what he meant to the team, and the team is still going to have lots of talented people, but it matters when you lose leaders like that. It does. It hurts. It hurts the team. It hurts the project. It doesn't mean that they can't rise to the occasion and overcome, and new leaders step up, obviously, but it's a big challenge.
Yeah. I would also wonder if, generally what happens when you have a good boss leave, you have people, underlings, other people on the team leave too. I wonder if now that this has been announced, are there people like, you know what, Darrah's gone, Hudson's gone, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. So it'd be kind of interesting to see the job boards, keep watch of those and see if we're bleeding talent. Because, there's a lot of talented people on the team right now. But will they stay?
Yeah, well, that's another thing, too. Look, I don't know anything more than what everybody else knows about what's going on inside BioWare. Some Jason Schreier articles have come out. I don't know what the culture is like in that company, really, because I don't work there.
Yeah.
There has been some talk that it's not going as well as it could be and that it's not great. And sometimes I don't know. It seems like everybody really, really liked and respected Mark Darrah, so I don't think this is the case. Sometimes you blame some of your immediate bosses, leaders. Sometimes you really appreciate them. And one of the things that I will say about this, for both Casey Hudson, Mark Darrah, and really anyone, like you said, even some of those people who are not as well known publicly, if you've left and if you wanted to leave, if you left and you didn't want to leave, then goddamn, that sucks. That really sucks. That sucks, and I'm sorry. But if you left and you wanted to leave, I hope you're doing better. Because it really sucks to be in a place where you're not happy. And one thing, too, that I would, not to be negative about it, I'm trying to spin this from an appreciation standpoint. Again, I don't know jack shit about video games. I don't want to project my own life. I don't know. Oh, did the mic do the thing?
I don't know jack shit about video games.
Yes. So many people on Twitter are going to be like, finally, the mic tells the truth. I don't want to project too much of my own experience onto this, but it's like sometimes you find out that your boss was putting themselves up like a wall in front of you for bullshit. And it takes a high toll on some of those people. And sometimes you never see it. And you don't know until 2 years later that so-and-so was fighting like mad for the team and taking hell for it behind closed doors. And eventually those people just go, fuck this, man. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's the case here, but something gives me a suspicion that that was the case for Casey Hudson and Mark Darrah. And that eventually they either got shown the door for their efforts or they just kind of said, I got to tap out here. This is ridiculous. You gotta tip your hat to these two guys. They've given a lot to the studio. It should be nothing but appreciation for what they've done. And again, new people will step up, or at least I sure hope they will. I think they will. And hopefully somebody else takes up that fight now.
And I wish all the best to the team that's still there, that hopefully don't listen to this, because you don't need us two chucklefucks telling you how your job's going. I wish the best for the team, and I hope things go well. Even outside of making a good game, 3 bad games in a row, that's going to just gut the morale there, you know? They need a hit.
They need a hit bad, and it really sucks that, the perception of Dragon Age is I don't know, in doubt. I get, I've seen a lot of the replies to, the IGN tweets and, the Polygon and the mainstream stuff, and, hey, man, the last Dragon Age game was Game of the Year.
People still hated it, though.
I mean, the people who are like, it's not Dragon Age Origins hated it.
Yeah, but I mean, people that, there's people that I know, they're not fans of it and they didn't even play Origins, you know, which is fine. But people say that Dragon Age won Game of the Year because there were no other good games in that year. I don't know the lineup, personally.
It was definitely a weaker year, and in all honesty, if The Witcher 3 had not gotten delayed to March of 2015, The Witcher 3 would have won.
Well, I mean, yeah, and then Witcher 3 won the next year.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So you know, like I understand, like it was not necessarily, but it was still game of the year, right? Like even if it came in second place to The Witcher 3, like guess what? That's still a really solid game. So it's unfortunate that the perception now is that like Dragon Age specifically is in trouble. I think BioWare, as a result of Andromeda being underwhelming and Anthem not being as good, that the studio kind of needs to hit more than the Dragon Age franchise, but it's splitting hairs at that point of analysis. Like, there's a lot of pressure on Dragon Age 4 regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want to end this on a good note or like, or just like a sobering
Which
note?
one?
We are definitely getting something Dragon Age in, it's currently the 5th, so 5 days, just hit myself on something. Maybe that's a sign of Caitie, just shut up, it's over now, but yeah, so we're getting something, things will progress, we're just, hang on to your seats, kids, this is how it's gonna be, and we'll do our best to guide you through it, and hopefully, things will be alright, you know? Just chill out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, I don't even know if this is a positive note, what I'm about to say, but it's just like...
Oh, boy.
It's fine whatever happens with BioWare. It's fine. Like, we're all adults, or most of us, right? I mean, I say that only because I'm literally aware of at least one 14-year-old that listens to the show, and I'm just like, good God, what have we done?
No, 14, stop it! Stop it! No! You're too young
like,
for
wait
these
a
games.
minute, this doesn't seem right.
You're not even supposed to know what sex is yet.
How innocent of us to say that. But no, it's just like, look, we can go play other stuff, man. Like, I understand we love these franchises. Yeah. I understand, like, Mass Effect is something special in the world of science fiction, in my opinion. Dragon Age is something special in the world of fantasy, and in particular, fantasy role-playing games. And we want these franchises to go on from this studio for a very long time. And honestly, there isn't enough evidence to suggest that that's not going to happen. In fact, the evidence suggests that that's exactly what's going to happen. But I think sometimes people let their mind wander. They start to think, oh, well, if this game doesn't come out and do well, what if this one doesn't come out and do well? Maybe BioWare will close. It's like, that's way, 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 way ahead of yourself, right? Like, we should just chill out. We should go play Cyberpunk if it doesn't make you barfy. You should go play Baldur's Gate 3 when that's fully done. You should go play, maybe some people will like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You should go play a whole bunch of different games that are available to go play and love video games and enjoy it, and just in the back of your mind go, hey, let's just see what happens when it comes to BioWare and Dragon Age. And if it's great and it's fantastic and it's a massive win, then we get to say, fuck yeah, back from the brink. Everybody hated and doubted, and now look what happened. Mm-hmm. And if they faceplant, oh boy, we'll have a real long episode about it, and we can all talk about our feelings.
Yeah. I will say, though, if BioWare ever shuts down, I don't think EA is going to let go of the Mass Effect and Dragon Age properties. At the very least, the Mass Effect, because they are worth a lot of money. There hasn't been a Mass Effect game in a couple years, and even in the N7 day, they did not give a shit about Andromeda, and they're still making bank on N7 day.
Oh yeah,
you know. So that's not going away because for some reason people really love the merchandise.
Yep.
And I think they're trying to do that with Dragon Age 2, which unfortunately it's kind of what Dragon Age 2 is turning into. That's a whole other story. But also huge congrats to the team for raising over $11,000. Good on them. Anyway, but if you heard the news, or if like Dragon Age not having any more games or whatever the games come out are like zombies to you, and that like really freaked you out, I need you to just like, being very serious, take a moment and reassess your priorities. Not like I don't even mean this in like you like, no, it's very seriously. If you put all of your self-worth and your happiness in a video game coming out, something's wrong, and you really need to take a step back and learn how to be happy while things are going wrong. And that is a huge ask, let me tell you, but it's a skill you need to learn, and maybe this is your lesson on how to do that. Like, if Dragon Age is your quote-unquote personality and everything you do in your life, and you are sitting there crying because Dragon Age isn't going to be everything you want it to be, I'm sorry, man. Like, you really need to take a step back through the game and say, okay, I need to heal myself a little bit before going on. little bit of a sobering moment there, but I saw so many reactions on Twitter of people just freaking out a little bit too much. I'm like, okay, guys, like, it's not good, but it's not like no one's dead.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's okay.
I think we have covered a lot of bases here. Anything else that we need to say before we wrap up? We will be back. I think the release schedule for this is going to be weird, which people will obviously know about by the time they're listening to this. This is probably going to come out sooner than normal, and then we're going to try and do something to react to whatever happens Thursday with the Game Awards.
Yeah, I don't know. I know last time we had a big Dragon Age thing, and I didn't have a baby. We live streamed right after that. Due to baby situation, I don't know if we'll do that again. We probably will have maybe very soon after that a podcast talking about it. Unless, I don't know, I can't really think of a world where whatever they show is so silly and non-consequential that we don't do something. That might be the case because we didn't do one for BTS for quite a while.
I think this time around it's going to be worthwhile. Could be wrong about that, but the indications that they're giving seem to be that this is going to be more than what they've shown thus far.
Yeah. So this is, I think there might be, 6 days between episodes, and we just had one this week. So,
look at us. Merry Christmas, folks.
Look at it. Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. This is your end of the 2020 hell year present. It's a lot of episodes back to back.
Thanks to everybody who's listened all year. It's really nice when people screenshot their Spotify or Stitcher end of year wrap up, and we always get a bunch of those at the end of the year. God, thank you all so much. It's very humbling to see our podcast in a list of what I always say are real podcasts.
I mean, yeah, because
it's shit that I also listen to while I'm working or back when I drove to work, when I would drive to work or whatever, and you go, God, this makes us feel so real in a weird way, which is odd.
Yeah. It definitely I still feel like I'm just some asshole that puts on a microphone and speaks stupid opinions, and somehow
precisely how I feel.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone that's listened. Honestly, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and I hope we continue to entertain you and bring you some joy in these strange,
interesting times.
Yeah.
With that, Caitie, where can the folks find you?
You can find me at Ghildirthalen on Twitter. And on YouTube. I'm kind of sparse with the uploading right now. It's with the upload schedule, I'm not going to upload a video this week because I'm just going to make a video on the trailer. Why put work into it? Anyway, what about you, Jordan? Where can they find you?
They can find me at The Exalted March on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram sometimes when I log in, and Reddit almost never, but I have an account. At The Exalted March on all the platforms.
All right, and with that, guys, Darrah Sharon.